Hi, Fiona.
Hi.
How's things?
Fine, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yes, yes.
Stolen one of your colours today, by the way.
Nice. Perfect. Yes, getting towards the end of term here, so all good. Okay, dokie. So today's topic is one we've kind of touched on before, but with so many of our episodes, we're coming back to things. So
We are.
art.
Yep.
Yes. Um,
Art.
art, art, art.
Making it, talking about it.
Yeah. I've had a group of teens this year, and I think one of the lessons where they spoke most enthusiastically was where I asked them to tell me about their favorite work of art. I mean, it was following on from something that we'd done in the book. It was an exam preparation lesson. Um, and I can't even remember if it was one of the questions in the book, or maybe I was just like running out of time at the end and I went, oh, so yeah, I got them all to share their favorite artwork. Um, and it was incredible. They were just, their passion for the pieces that they spoke about was wonderful. Um, they're all Italians, so a couple of them
Uh-huh.
shared kind of really old master classic pieces. One of them, he recently traveled, so he shared a video that he'd taken. Obviously, it wasn't his favorite artwork ever, but it was just something that came to his mind. And it
Yeah.
was kind of looking out over a balcony. And all the lights in the street and just the way that he was moving through. It was a really wonderful, really lovely lesson. So yeah, it really inspired me to include more art in the future.
I like including art. Our course includes art anyway. There's a strong history of art strand, particularly in the first term. So we take them to the National Gallery as
Mm.
well. And they have a painting each to find in the gallery and discuss. Well, we start off by giving them a lecture, basically, about the Wilton Triptych and Samson and Delilah and some of the key pieces that are in the National Gallery. And then we allocate them a painting each. And then they choose one each when they're there and they talk about how they felt and they do what they can see about it, what they guess, and what they like to research a bit more about. Like, I don't know, this painting called Whistle Jacket, which is a huge painting of a horse. And you think, gosh, what can you guess? Well, that the owner of that horse must have been one, very wealthy, and two, really love his horse because to spend that amount on having a painter come to paint this vast horse. But and it's a great painting as well. Anyway, so we do that. But we also do lecture on the language for discussing paintings, um, which I really enjoy as well. And I go in with, I have a bunch of artworks, uh, a lot of them by women. And then we look at phrases, it doesn't float my boat. Idioms like that. And then um, I don't know, it's a combination of uh, scaffolded input and emergent language for expressing opinions
Mm.
about art because certainly I work in a cultural context where opinions are not always expressed or even asked for. So
Mhm.
art is a great way to deal with that because it's not asking opinions about, I don't know, politics or people.
Yeah, yeah, and
So
so
yeah,
subjective. Like when you see a piece of art, your interpretation of it will be completely different to somebody else's, and
exactly, yeah.
every idea is valid.
But this is it, and telling stories, you can, if you've got an art gallery near you or find stuff online, I mean, what is the story? Why did the person paint it? What story does it tell?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, there's a painting in the Ashmolean here that looks unfinished. Why is it unfinished? You know, it's one of the Impressionists. It's a snow scene. I can't think who it's by. It's one of the really well-known painters, but I forget who. Um, it's unfinished. Why is it unfinished?
Hmm.
That kind of thing. Why do they paint that color? What? Um, you know, if it's Samson and Delilah, what is the story of Samson and Delilah? Why is that painting so famous? And why is it controversial, which it is right now, etc., etc. There's just a lot. It's what you say. All opinions are valid, and
Hmm.
um, I think it was last week we were talking about the safe space. All opinions are valid,
Yeah.
and it's a good opportunity to teach them that. If somebody goes, "No, you're wrong," you go, "No." Okay, tolerance training. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
art. I love it though as well.
Yeah, and I love what you were saying to when you mentioned kind of emergent language for talking about the opinions, but also a lot of the language for describing artworks.
Mm,
It's not the sort of language that you will get in a course book because it's so specific. But it can bring out this passion in the students to be able to talk about the
yeah,
brush strokes and perspective and things like that, which
yeah,
they're
yeah.
not particularly high frequency, but useful.
Yes, and there are language that can be like, I don't know, brushstrokes you can use in a business context as well, you know. There's a lot of the language of art is then transferable, the big picture, it's that
Yeah.
thing, Um, and it's another thing I use art for is for that tendency to echo that we have in English, where I say, "Oh, it's really cool," and you go, "Yeah, it was brilliant." And we use to show agreement, we use a synonym
Mm,
or close or approximate synonym of what the other person just said, rather
yeah.
than just going, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you're right," or "Yes, I agree." We do that as part of spoken language, and of course, most of our students come in going, "It's very good, it's very good, it's very good," you know, it's very good, it's very good, it's very good, or it's not good.
Hmm.
I don't like, that kind of thing. And so to arm them with, it's amazing, it's awesome, it's beautiful, it's incredible, it's fantastic, it's gorgeous, it's really impressive,
Hmm.
it's
Breathtaking.
breathtaking, it's outstanding, yeah, I'm trying to think of paintings, but paintings is, it's weird, yeah, it's bizarre,
Mm,
it doesn't float my boat, So with that language, showing them paintings and then getting them to, yeah, when we actually go and look at artwork and they take photos and then they go around and mingle and, yeah, what do you think of this? I really like this. What did you think of it? Oh, I thought this was amazing. Yeah, that was fantastic. Then it provides a real context,
mm,
which is then applicable to films and books and TV shows and whatever.
yeah.
And I also, and this is because I'm going to lead you in a direction. I do a lecture on, so we do art history, and some of it is modern art.
Hmm.
Um, and I start it with a picture dictation, the typical thing where my students are A, B, A, B, A, B, and I have on my laptop picture A, picture B. So all the A's come out, they look at A, and they go back to their partner and they dictate, and blah, blah, blah. And then the B's come and they look at a different picture and they go back dictate. Right. And we start that, and I say, "Oh, because we're talking about art, I'm just going to get you to do some drawing first." All right. But I used two paintings by David Hockney. I use one from the 1970s, and I use one of his recent ones as well. Um, and then, having done that picture dictation, I then start on the lecture. Anthony Gormley and Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst and Jennifer Savold, couldn't remember her name for a moment, and David Hockney, and they all go, "Oh, that's the one we did." Oh, no. Um, and they like that sensation of having just
Mm,
done, like, "Oh, wow." Um, so creating art is another.
Hmm.
Do you do any, I mean, you're in the digital, do you do any drawing or creating art? Or,
No, unfortunately. Um, no. I mean, I've got one younger learner who's 9, and we do a lot of drawing because we don't share a language. She's Italian. If, we've done a bit of Google Translate, she'll put something in the chat box and I'll Google Translate it. Sometimes if she speaks Italian very slowly, I can understand. But it is a lot of drawing to get the idea across as well. So yeah, so a lot of she'll hold up her notebook, I'll be drawing things on the screen. So yeah, very stick images, stick men we can do.
you can use bad art in class as well for guesswork. Sorry, I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting you and your student are bad art, but it came
Oh
into
no,
my mind while you're
it
talking
has
about
been.
it. Like, yeah, there's an online museum called, I think it's just called the Museum of Bad Art, MOBA.
Hmm.
And I've used those pictures in class before because, what do you think that is?
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic.
Um, one thing to be a little bit careful of is colorblind students with that kind of thing. They've got to guess a load of stuff. What do you think the blue things are? And then I don't see any blue. That has
Mm,
actually happened to me in class. Um, I think creating art, we'll be doing some on the Soul course this summer.
mm,
We get, yeah, creating art and then talking about what you created. Going out, paint something from your day, paint your emotions, paint your feel, whatever, and then share it and discuss it. I've got, and this is by pure chance, but I journal, I paint journal. So I've got things like this next to me, and to you that's meaningless, but so so you might say, "What's all that about?" And then I can talk about it.
mm,
I mean,
mm,
I wouldn't because that's personal, but if I know that I'm going to have to talk about it, or you can get them to. I'm just trying to find one that isn't quite so. A feeling, something they enjoyed when they were young. You can get them to paint feelings in that sense, paint the sensation of being in a garden in Andalusia or something, or, this is what it's like to be gardening in Seville, this kind of thing.
mm. Yeah.
But painting the emotions and then discussing it, or
Hmm.
um, I'm going to show you a book. This gets some mention in our book.
Hmm. Your brain on art. You've flipped that one up to the screen a few times, I think, in these episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, probably because art is very relaxing. It's good for the brain. It's calming. It's creating art.
Mhm.
Again, going back to the safe space. And I say this because I remember my art teacher, one of my art teachers at school. No, this is bad. This is good. This is bad. No, not doing that.
Mhm.
Everybody's art is good. So display it all.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I use a lot of drawing in class, isn't she?
Nice.
A lot of working in small groups to create something artistic and then show it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you've got the negotiating of what they're going to create and what colors and what, where, and and then explaining it and sharing it to others. Um, it's good for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, I think with a topic like art, eh, maybe it's one of those things that people don't realize is around them so much until you kind of start
Yeah, yeah.
talking about it as well. And the same with nature, maybe, those little things that we take
Hmm.
for granted, or, you
They
know,
have a lot in common, don't they? I mean,
mm,
they're sensorial. If you're creating art, you've got touch, you've got smell from the smell of paints, um, as well as sight. You've got
Or the
motion.
chalk on your fingers,
Exactly. Sound of
charcoal.
chalk. The sound of it. Yeah. Yeah. And nature's the same. It's the sensorial thing, and the senses trigger learning.
Hmm. Hmm.
I can still smell if I think about it. Um, Primary school paints. You remember those paints in the bottles,
Yeah, yeah.
and that distinctive smell. Um,
I can remember the feel of the rubber cap because it had a very, which you don't seem to see so much anymore. Yeah, those little rubber caps.
there you see.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is. This is memory, and then you've just used the words rubber and cap. So the language needed to talk about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I think art is like nature. It's important in life,
Hmm.
and therefore it has a place in the classroom. It's
Yeah.
something that we do all have opinions on. And your idea of choosing favorites, that means that you can have, what's his name? Is it Liechtenstein? Anything that's like modern, could be Banksy, I guess, could be modern. I mentioned Anthony Gormley, could be Anthony Gormley. It
Well,
could be
I did a lesson.
Leonardo da Vinci. We've all got differences.
Yeah, I talking about kind of modern art. I did a lesson recently, a conversation lesson about Mr. Doodle. So his work has been heavily inspired by Keith Hart. Yeah, exactly.
Keith Haring, yeah, but this is
Keith
Mr.
Haring.
Doodle. That's in my tissue
Uh-huh.
box.
Yeah, and but we talked about, so he did this project where he doodled his whole house. And so, first of all, we talked about art, we talked about doodling and whether it's good, because, historically, if you were doodling, you shouldn't be doodling. Whereas now we've realized that it's actually really
Yeah.
good for the brain to be kind
Yeah,
of
and it helps
doing
focus,
something.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect example of something you just said about art everywhere.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
my box of tissues that's sitting on my desk here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's street art, there's murals. If you've
Hmm.
got any street art near your classroom, you can go out, talk about it.
Yeah.
I saw, I don't remember the name of the town. It's in Portugal. It's not a branch, but it's near a branch. I visited a school a couple of years ago, and they had got a local artist to come in and paint murals on the classroom wall, but just paint the outlines. And they'd got the kids and the students to actually like color
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
classroom walls. So the walls had become the decor had become something that was owned by the students, which I really liked as well. I don't know if they change it every year, I guess, unless they have the same, which, in a smallish town, you probably do have more or less the same students every year.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
like that idea as well. So you could do that. You could have a big, whiteboard, big Villeda board, or a big something
Hmm.
that people can just, as long as you can clean it all.
I had uh we're almost running out of time, but I had a graffiti wall in one of my classrooms. I
Hmm.
actually kind of put up poster paper like bricked. And then the students, if they kind of wanted to tag anything in English, they could. Any like little phrases
Yeah.
that they liked and stuff like that. Yeah.
But you can have, I mean, there's 6 second doodles. No, 6 second scribble is a
Hmm.
game. Look it up. But you could have coming into the digital classroom, you can have, right, somebody draw and go
Hmm.
into draw something fast, and then everybody guesses what they were drawing.
Yep.
Or draw an idiom, draw a message, draw how you're feeling today. That's creating art. And then screenshot yourself with next to the draw or whatever. You just do loads of
Yeah.
things with it.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff with it. Drawing people's backs, not literally with a finger.
I'm sure
Um,
we've got many more ideas to come back to. So we will definitely
art,
be back
art,
with
art,
art.
art. I got art behind me actually.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
Yeah. Yep. I've got my wall, which is my little work of art. Fabulous. Well, I will see you next week for a different topic, Fiona, but we will definitely come back to art again because we love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.